On the morning of my wedding, I was supposed to be riding on a cloud of euphoria. Instead, my fiancée, Isabel, informed me that I would be taking a back seat, literally. Her assistant, she explained, was prone to car sickness and required the spacious, smooth ride of the lead limousine. I was the groom, a central figure in the day's events, yet I was being relegated to a secondary vehicle like a distant cousin. It was an unprecedented, baffling request. I sought some semblance of reason from my future father-in-law and brother-in-law Daniel, hoping they would intervene. To my astonishment, they presented a united front with Isabel, advising me to be the bigger person and not cause a scene. All around us, our friends and family were gathering, their eyes flitting between me, Isabel, and the waiting limo. I could feel the weight of their stares, a mix of confusion and pity. Worse were my co-workers, a few of whom had never bothered to hide their jealousy over my engagement to the CEO's daughter. Their phones were already out, poised to capture and broadcast my humiliation for their group chats. My patience frayed and snapped. I turned away from Isabel and her family, my eyes scanning the rows of cars until I found a familiar face. I walked directly to a modest sedan, pulled open the passenger door, and slid inside. Clara, my friend since kindergarten, looked at me, her expression a mixture of concern and vindication. "Didn't you tell me once you never wanted me to marry anyone else?" I asked, the words tumbling out before I could stop them. "What do you say we go get a marriage license right now?" A slow smile spread across her face, her eyes lighting up with a spark of exhilarating madness. "Absolutely," she said. Later, when Isabel's family found out I had already married someone else, their carefully orchestrated day descended into pure chaos. It had all started earlier that morning. I had been awake since before dawn, going through the motions of a groom's preparations, a knot of excitement and nerves tightening in my stomach. I'd just finished adjusting my tie, giving my reflection a final, reassuring nod, when Isabel caught my arm as I moved toward the gleaming white limousine. "Hold on, Leo," she said, her tone casual, as if she were asking me to pass the salt. "You'll need to ride in one of the cars in the back." It took a moment for her words to register. "What are you talking about?" "Simon gets terrible car sickness," she explained, gesturing toward her ever-present assistant. "He needs to sit up front. Just go along with it. It's not a long drive to the venue." The sheer absurdity of it left me speechless. "Isabel, this is our wedding day. I'm the groom. Do you really think it's appropriate for me to be shuffled into a different car so your assistant can ride with you?" I tried to reason with her. "Besides, if someone is car sick, they need fresh air from a window or, at most, the front passenger seat. I've never heard of the lead wedding car being prescribed as a cure." From beside her, Simon could barely contain a smug smirk. "Sorry about this, Leo," he said, his voice dripping with false sincerity. "My condition is a bit particular. Isabel feels terrible for me and insisted I ride with her. I tried to protest, of course. It's not exactly proper." My blood began to boil. "So you admit you know it's not proper?" I struggled to keep my voice steady, acutely aware of the growing audience of guests. "The lead car is for the bride and groom. That's the tradition. If you have Simon ride with you, anyone who doesn't know us will assume you're marrying him." Isabel waved a dismissive hand. "Why do you care so much what other people think? Our friends and family are all here. They know perfectly well who I'm marrying." Seeing I was getting nowhere with her, I turned to her father, hoping for an ally. "Mr. Vance, Isabel is insisting that her assistant rides with her in the limousine, and that I should just find a seat in one of the other cars." Before her father could even formulate a response, her brother, Daniel, stepped in. "Come on, man," he said with a condescending chuckle. "If my sister told you to do it, just do it. It's not that big of a deal. You don't need to run to Dad to tattle on her." Her father finally spoke, his tone disappointingly placid. Leo, Isabel is an incredibly busy woman. She needs her assistant by her side at all times. What if a critical work issue comes up on the way to the ceremony? It's simply more convenient for them to be together. You two are about to be husband and wife. You need to be more understanding of her needs. The reality of the situation settled over me like a shroud. Her entire family was siding with an outsider against me. While I stood there, stunned, Isabel had already opened the limo door for Simon, who slid into the plush interior without a backward glance. The whispers among the guests grew louder. I saw looks of shock and annoyance, but mostly I saw the morbid curiosity of people watching a train wreck in slow motion, waiting for the final, spectacular crash of my dignity. A few of my more spiteful co-workers had given up all pretense of subtlety, their phones held high as they filmed the limo before panning back to my stunned face. One was even providing a running commentary for his video. "The gold-digging groom is getting his karma early," he muttered. "Isabel might have agreed to marry him, but she won't even let him in the wedding car. Simon is the one she really loves. So what if the mooch pressured her into this? He doesn't even have the right to ride in the same car as her." Their words grew increasingly venomous until I couldn't bear it any longer. "Shut your mouths!" I roared, the sound raw and desperate. They flinched and reluctantly lowered their phones. "Even if you tricked Isabel into this marriage, Leo," one of them sneered, "you'll never be as important to her as Simon is." Another added, "Yeah, if I were you, I wouldn't go through with this. If you have any self-respect left, you'll just go home now." Why wouldn't I go through with it? I thought, a bitter laugh rising in my throat. I am absolutely getting married today. If I backed out now, I'd be handing that snake Simon the exact victory he wanted. Everyone seemed to believe I had pressured Isabel into this marriage, but the truth was the complete opposite. To convince me to be her boyfriend, she had rented out an entire cruise ship and set off a cascade of 999 fireworks over the city's main harbor. To get me to marry her, she had proposed 18 separate times. The final time, she had conquered her crippling fear of heights to jump from the world's highest bungee platform, all because I had once jokingly told her, "If you dare to jump from there, I'll agree to marry you." Now, all those grand gestures, all those beautiful memories, were being twisted into a public joke at my expense. I walked numbly toward a random car, opened the passenger door, and got in. "The groom isn't even allowed in the lead car, and you're sure you still want to get married?" I turned to see it was Clara, my childhood friend, her expression etched with worry. "Are you here to laugh at me too?" I asked, my voice flat. When I first decided to marry Isabel, Clara had been vehemently against it. We had argued about it so many times that we'd nearly destroyed our friendship for good. "I don't have time for that," she said quietly. After a moment of silence, she spoke again, her voice firm. "If you call off this wedding right now, I will get you out of here immediately." "Take me to the wedding venue," I said, my voice hollow. "She's treating you like this, and you still want to marry her?" "Just drive," I insisted. Clara slammed her fist against the steering wheel in frustration, but put the car in gear and pulled out, heading toward the venue. We were about halfway there when a small sedan seemed to materialize out of nowhere, swerving erratically before it slammed into our side. Luckily, Clara's reflexes were sharp. She wrenched the wheel hard, and the other car only managed to clip our rear panel instead of T-boning us. A stylishly dressed man jumped out of the other car and ran over, banging on our window. "What kind of driving was that? You wrecked my car. Neither of you is going anywhere until you pay for my repairs." "Stay in the car," Clara said calmly. "I'll handle this." The man looked vaguely familiar, but I couldn't immediately place him. Just then, my phone rang. It was Isabel. "Where are you?" she demanded, her voice sharp with impatience. "We've been here forever. What's taking you so long?" "I was in a car accident," I told her. I heard a man's voice, Simon's, in the background. "A car accident on your wedding day? Isn't that bad luck? Maybe it's a sign from the universe that you two shouldn't get married." "Don't say that," Isabel snapped, before speaking to me again. "Leo, just grab a cab and get over here. Don't miss the ceremony." My heart felt like a stone dropping in my chest. "I was just in a car wreck, and your first thought isn't whether I'm hurt, but that I might be late?" "My husband is a tough guy. I'm sure you're fine," she said flippantly. "Just hurry up and get a cab. Everyone's waiting for you." She hung up. The moment I stepped out of the car to assess the damage, the other driver grabbed my wrist. "You're not going anywhere," he snarled. "No one in this car is leaving." It was the man who had deliberately hit us. Seeing him up close, I finally recognized him. I didn't know his name, but I had seen him at Isabel's company once. He was one of Simon's friends. Clara stepped between us. "This is my car. If you have a problem, you can talk to me." "No way," he insisted. "No one is leaving." "How do I know you didn't plan this whole thing to hit me on purpose?" Clara scoffed. "Dude, there are traffic cameras all over this intersection. You hit me." "I don't care. None of you are going anywhere." I laughed, a cold, empty sound. "Simon sent you to hold me up, didn't he?" The man froze, his face a mask of shock. He clearly hadn't expected me to make the connection. "Who's Simon? I don't know anyone by that name." Just then, my phone rang again. It was a video call from Simon. I answered, and his smug face filled the screen. He was wearing my custom-made tuxedo. My makeup artist was standing behind him, fussing with his hair. "How do I look, Leo?" he asked, a triumphant glint in his eye. "Don't get the wrong idea. Isabel said you probably wouldn't make it in time, and she was afraid of missing the auspicious time for the ceremony, so she asked me to stand in for you. No need to rush over. I'll live stream the entire wedding for you. Gotta go, the ceremony is starting." I sat back in the car in a silent daze, watching the wedding that was supposed to be mine proceed smoothly without me. I had personally selected every single detail of the venue, down to the specific type of lily used in the floral arrangements. But now, someone else was standing up there in my place. The ceremony reached its climax, and the officiant announced loudly, "The bride may now kiss her groom." Isabel barely hesitated, tilting her head up to meet Simon's lips. The camera even zoomed in for a close-up of their kiss. It wasn't a chaste peck. It was a deep, passionate kiss. So intense that I could see a thin string of saliva connecting their lips when they finally pulled apart. A wave of profound nausea washed over me. I threw open the car door and stumbled out, unable to stop myself from vomiting onto the pavement. Clara was by my side in an instant, patting my back gently. "Why are you suddenly sick? I'll take you to the hospital." I waved my hand, took the water bottle she offered, and rinsed my mouth. The suit I was wearing suddenly felt itchy and suffocating, an unbearable costume from a life that was no longer mine. I just wanted it off. My eyes fell on a gym bag in the back seat. I grabbed it and found a new tracksuit Clara had just bought for her brother. Without a second thought, I stripped off the formal accessories on my head and changed into the tracksuit. It was a little snug, but it would do. At that moment, a voice came from my phone. It was Simon. "So, Leo, what did you think of our wedding? In a little while, Isabel and I are going to make the rounds and toast the guests. Your relatives don't seem to care much about you, by the way. They didn't even notice the groom was swapped out. I won't live stream the toasts. It would be a waste of battery. Bye." Clara got back in the car. "That guy was a total psycho. I'm not going to waste my time arguing with him. I had my assistant handle it." She saw my new attire, and her eyes widened. "What are you—" "You don't mind if I borrow your brother's clothes, do you?" Clara just stared at me for a long moment. No, not at all. Does this mean you're not getting married? Isabel and Simon already finished the ceremony, I said numbly. Leo, she began, her voice soft but clear. Didn't you say you didn't want me to marry anyone else? So do you want to go get our marriage license now or not? I was completely stunned, my mind struggling to catch up. You mean, you and me? Get a marriage license? Clara nodded, a hopeful light in her eyes. If you don't want to, it's fine. But her face lit up when I finally found my voice. You bet, I said, a surge of defiant energy rushing through me. Why wouldn't I want to? I'd love to. Clara slammed on the accelerator and we drove straight to City Hall. Just like that, in a complete and utter daze, we obtained our marriage certificate. Let's go, she said as we walked out. To the hotel. I felt my face flush. Are we moving this fast? We haven't even held hands yet. She laughed. What are you thinking? I meant let's go to my wedding hotel. The reception should still be going on. We can go give Isabel and Simon a wedding gift. Let's do it. When we got to the hotel, I found an empty red envelope from the gift table and stuffed $38 into it. Then, Clara and I found an inconspicuous corner table and sat down to wait. After what felt like an eternity, Isabel and Simon finally made their way to our table during the toasts. They didn't recognize me at first in the tracksuit. It wasn't until it was my turn to be toasted that Isabel finally focused on me. Leo, when did you get here? And whose clothes are you wearing? The groom was replaced, I said calmly. Wouldn't it be ironic for me to still be in that suit? Don't misunderstand, she said quickly. It was only because you were in an accident and couldn't make it. That's why I had Simon help me finish the ceremony. Otherwise, not only would we have missed the right time, but it wouldn't have been fair to make all our friends and family wait for you. I nodded slowly. I understand. Just then, Isabel's father and her brother, Daniel, came over. Hey, man, what are you wearing? Are those a woman's clothes? Daniel asked with a sneer. Leo, I'm not trying to lecture you, her dad began, his voice laced with disappointment. But just because Isabel didn't let you ride in the limo, you intentionally skipped your own wedding to embarrass her. That was incredibly immature. If Simon hadn't stepped in to save the day, our whole family would have been humiliated. Don't you ever pull something like this again. Even if Isabel spoils you, I absolutely will not tolerate it. You didn't tell him I was in a car accident? I asked Isabel, then turned back to her father. Oh, and by the way, the car that hit me was driven by one of Simon's friends. He's been arrested for intentionally causing an accident and will definitely be facing criminal charges. Simon looked flustered, and Isabel immediately leaped to his defense. What do you mean, one of Simon's friends? You make it sound like Simon intentionally had his friend crash into you. Didn't he? That's impossible, she insisted. I know Simon better than anyone. He's so considerate and kind. He doesn't have a manipulative bone in his body. Why would he ask his friend to crash into your car? Simon's eyes turned red, as if on cue. Isabel, thank you for believing in me. Otherwise, there's no way I could clear my name. Don't worry, she cooed, patting his arm. Some people just bite the hand that feeds them. Isabel, are you calling me a dog? I asked, my voice dangerously low. I just want you to understand that Simon did you a huge favor today. You should be grateful to him, not sling mud in his face. You need to apologize to him right now. I was going to reschedule another wedding for you, but if you don't apologize, you can forget about it. I let out a genuine laugh. If you don't do it, someone else will. Right, honey? I looked at Clara, who leaned over and gave me a soft kiss on the forehead. Of course, she murmured. Isabel looked like she'd misheard. What did you just call her? My wife, I said clearly. She's my wife, legally. Thank you for not marrying me. I'm now Mrs. Stratford's husband." Isabel's face twisted in disgust. "Leo, what are you doing? I'm your wife. We just had our wedding." "You're mistaken," I corrected her. "The person who had a wedding with you was Simon. I just played a few door games with you this morning. Wasn't Simon the one who actually went through the ceremony with you? I've told you a dozen times Simon was just helping you. You're still my groom." "Sorry, but I don't need anyone to help me through my own wedding. So what are you trying to say?" "Isn't it obvious? We're over, and I have you to thank, Isabel. If you hadn't insisted on getting the license after the wedding, I never would have had the chance to choose someone else. Now, I wish you and Simon a long and happy life together. May you have many children." I stood up and stuffed the red envelope into Simon's hand. "This is our wedding gift to you." He opened it on the spot. "Why is there only $38 in here?" "Because that's all you're worth," I replied. Simon's face turned a mottled shade of green with rage. "Isabel, I tried to help him, and he calls me a kept man." "Leo, all our guests are here, and so many of your relatives. This isn't the time to throw a tantrum," Isabel hissed. "My parents passed away a long time ago," I said, my voice cold. "Those relatives are people I barely know. If you hadn't forced me to invite them, saying a wedding wouldn't be lively with too few people, I wouldn't have had to suck it up and call every single one of them. I even had to pay for some of them to come. Some of them don't even know what I look like. So what if they see me as a joke? It's not like we'll ever see each other again anyway." Isabel's face darkened. "Leo, this wasn't a big deal today. Did you have to make such an ugly scene? I'm giving you one last chance. Apologize to Simon right now, and I can pretend none of this ever happened. Otherwise, you're not coming home to our new house tonight, and I'll have to seriously reconsider our relationship." I let out a cold laugh. "I wouldn't go back even if you begged me to, but I do need to make one trip there. I bought a lot of the things in that house, and now that we're broken up, I'm taking them with me. You don't have a problem with that, do you?" I was done talking to her. I took Clara's hand. "Honey, will you help me go pack my things?" We strolled right past Isabel, whose face had turned a sickly shade of green. "Leo, are you really trying to humiliate me in front of everyone?" she shrieked, chasing after me with Simon clip-clopping behind her in his dress shoes. "Isabel, just leave him alone," Simon urged. "The more you indulge him, the worse his temper gets. Let's just stay here and finish the toasts. There are still so many guests waiting." Suddenly, we heard a yelp. Simon had tripped and fallen. Isabel looked at me, then back at him on the ground. In the end, she chose to go back and help him up. Clara and I went back to the house Isabel and I were supposed to share. I started packing without a word. Anything I could take, I boxed up. Anything I couldn't, I smashed. The thought of Isabel and Simon living here together made me sick to my stomach. I would rather destroy it all than let those two have it. Once everything was packed, I took one last look around the house. I had once dreamed of marrying Isabel here, of having children and growing old together. Now, it was all just a fantasy. This place was never really mine. Before leaving, I transferred the $5 million Isabel had given me as an engagement gift back to her account. Then, I blocked her number and all her social media profiles. "Don't look back," Clara said softly, putting a hand on my shoulder. "This place has bad vibes anyway. We'll find a much better home. Why don't we go look at houses tomorrow? The new villas over at Lakeview Estates just went on the market." I nodded. "Okay, so, tonight, can I stay at your place?" Clara froze for a second. Then her ears turned a deep shade of red. "We're a legally married couple now," she said quietly. "We're supposed to live together. I know you probably just want to stay with me to avoid Isabel, but I'm still really happy." I found it hard to look her in the eye. Even though we had known each other for over 20 years, for almost our entire lives, it still felt strange now that we had crossed the line from friends to spouses. When we got to her apartment, I didn't know whether to sit or stand. I'd been to her place countless times before, but I'd never felt so awkward. Clara was nervous too, her face flushed. "Why don't you take a shower first?" she suggested. "Then I'll go after you." "Okay," I agreed, escaping into the bathroom. I gave myself a long pep talk in the mirror. We have a marriage license. We're a legal couple. There's nothing to be awkward about. After psyching myself up, I came out and went to the bedroom to wait for her. When Clara finished her shower, everything that was supposed to happen between a husband and wife happened. I had really underestimated her. She wasn't just beautiful. Her body was incredible too. All in all, I was very satisfied. The next morning, after breakfast, Clara drove me over to Lakeview Estates to look at houses. We fell in love with one of the newly finished villas and were ready to sign the papers on the spot. Just as I picked up the pen, I heard a cry from behind me. "Leo, I finally found you!" Isabel ran toward me, looking frantic. "I went back to our house last night and saw you'd taken all your things. You even sent back the $5 million I gave you. I tried to call you to apologize, but your phone just wouldn't go through. I went to your old place, but no one was there. Then someone told me they saw you at Lakeview today, so I rushed right over." She took a deep breath. "Leo, I thought about it all last night, and I know I was completely out of line with the wedding arrangements. You have every right to be angry. You can do whatever you want to get it out of your system, but please, just don't ignore me. We're husband and wife. Couples fight, but they make up. We shouldn't let this drag on. I came here specifically to apologize, and I've already started planning a new wedding ceremony for you." I scoffed. "Isabel, you don't still think I'm just pouting, do you? We're done. I have a new family now. Please don't bother me again." "Don't say things you don't mean, Leo. I know you can't live without me. We've been together for 8 years. We're not going to break up." "So that's it? You thought because we were together for 8 years, you could hurt me however you wanted, and I'd never leave?" "Isabel, I'm not that pathetic. I was never some love-struck idiot. I would have loved you forever, as long as you were loyal to me. But you betrayed me. So, I don't love you anymore." "I just had Simon stand in for a ceremony," she pleaded. "Nothing happened between us." "Nothing happened?" I pulled up the video from yesterday's wedding on my phone. "You two were kissing in front of everyone, and you're telling me nothing happened? Do you think I'm an idiot, Isabel?" A flicker of panic crossed her face. "No, that was just camera angles." "Do camera angles create a string of saliva?" Seeing she couldn't argue her way out of it, Isabel changed her tune. "The atmosphere was just so emotional. I got caught up in the moment. Leo, I swear there's nothing going on between me and Simon. Yesterday's wedding was just an accident." "I don't want to hear your excuses. My wife and I are buying our marital home now. Please don't disturb us." "Wife?" Isabel sneered. "You mean Clara? Isn't she just your best friend? You've known each other for over 20 years and never got together. And now, after one day, she's your wife?" I put my arm around Clara. "Yeah, is there a problem?" "Don't be ridiculous. I'd never believe that in a million years." "Honey," I said to Clara, "you brought the marriage certificate, right? Show it to her." Clara pulled our marriage certificate out of her purse and held it up in front of Isabel's face. "Open your damn eyes and look closely. Am I Leo's legal wife or not?" Isabel stared at the certificate, completely stunned. You actually married this person." "Yeah, I told you yesterday," I said. "We're a legally married couple." Isabel's eyes turned red. "Leo, how could you be so impulsive? Getting married is a huge deal. How could you just go and marry someone else? Did you even think about my feelings?" "Why should I think about your feelings? Do I need your permission to get married? When you were up on that stage kissing Simon, did you think about my feelings?" Isabel took a deep breath. trying to regain control. Leo, since this is already a fact, I don't want to argue with you about it anymore. Go and get a divorce right now. And I can pretend none of this ever happened. We'll start over. We'll get our license first, and then we'll have a new wedding. Clara couldn't hold back her anger anymore. Are you an idiot? Can't you understand plain English? My husband is done with you. He is my legal husband now. If you keep harassing him, don't blame me for what happens next. Isabel shoved Clara hard. Who the hell do you think you are? Leo doesn't love you, he only loves me. He only married you to make me angry. You can't seriously think he has feelings for you. Whether he loves me or not isn't for you to decide, Clara shot back. Maybe he loved you before, but now his heart belongs to me. You little brat, trying to steal my husband. You need to be taught a lesson. You have no idea who you're messing with. Isabel lunged forward to slap her, but Clara, who had practiced taekwondo for years, easily blocked the blow and twisted her arm. Isabel's face went white with pain. You dare touch me? I'll kill you. Isabel was no match for Clara. I pulled them apart just as Simon arrived. Oh my God, Isabel. Why are you fighting with someone? Send her a lawyer's letter, Isabel shrieked. I'm going to sue her. I'm going to make her pay until she's bankrupt. You little tramp, you dare to lay a hand on me? I guess you don't want to work in this city anymore. Simon helped Isabel up. Isabel, I told you not to come looking for Leo. He's still angry. He's not going to listen to anything you say right now. You'd be better off coming back with me. Give it a few months. Once Leo calms down, he might come back to you on his own. In a few months, he'll be a father, Clara stated flatly. Isabel shoved Simon away. Leo, are you really going to be with this little girl? She's just a regular office worker. What can she give you? This house you're looking at, can she even afford it? Even if you managed to buy it, you'd be stuck with a mortgage for the rest of your lives. If you like this place, I can buy all of them and give them to you. Clara let out a cold laugh. You talk a big game, Isabel. Buying out all the villas in Lakeview Estates would cost at least $1 billion. You have that kind of money? Isabel did not have that kind of money. Even if I didn't, I'm still 100 times better off than you. If you can afford to buy a single bathroom in this place, I'll take your last name. Then I'm afraid you'll have to change your name to Isabel Stratford, Clara said coolly. You're full of it. Do you know who the developer of this property is? Isn't it Stratford Development? Clara replied. You're not going to tell me you're the heiress to the Stratford Development fortune, are you? If you're the heiress of Stratford Development, I'll get on my knees and bow to you right now. Clara smiled. Remember what you just said? She called over the manager of the development. This lady is interested in our properties. She wants to buy all of our villas. Please take her to process the payment. Right this way, ma'am, the manager said to Isabel. Wait, I'm not just going to swipe my card because you tell me to. For all I know, you're in cahoots with the sales team to scam me. I'm not buying this house. I'm not that naive. Whatever, Clara said with a shrug. It's not like we'll have trouble selling these places, but if you don't have the money, don't pretend you do. Making up excuses now is just embarrassing. Whether I buy it or not is my business. Who said I have to buy it just because I said I would? You're the one who has to prove you're the Stratford Development heiress. Don't try to change the subject. Fine. Clara took out her phone and made a call. I'm sure you know my grandfather. Is your grandfather someone important? How would I know him? Isabel scoffed. The call connected. Grandpa, are you busy? The CEO of Apex Tech, Isabel Vance, would like to say hello. Then Clara turned the phone toward Isabel. This is my grandfather. When Isabel saw the man on the screen, she was floored. Mr. Chairman, hello. I'm Isabel from Apex Tech. Her grandfather nodded. Hello. I believe Clara has mentioned you before. You were Leo's fiancée, correct? Clara took the phone back. Grandpa, she's not his fiancée anymore. And I have good news. Leo and I just got our marriage license yesterday. He's your grandson-in-law now." Her grandfather was stunned for a moment, then burst out laughing. "Wonderful! That's wonderful! I've wanted Leo to be our family's grandson-in-law for ages, but you little girl, you never made a move. You drove me crazy. It's not that I didn't make a move. I just never had the chance. But it's all good now. He's my husband." "Excellent. Bring Leo home for dinner. Tonight. I'll have the chef make all of his favorite dishes." "Okay." After she hung up, Isabel was still in a daze. You're really the Stratford Development heiress." "Where do you think all those projects between your company and Stratford Development came from?" Clara asked. "If it wasn't for Leo, you wouldn't have even been qualified to bid. All right, you can kneel and bow to me now." Isabel started to sweat. If she did it, she'd lose all face. If she didn't, she'd already made the promise. And now, Clara was on a whole different level. She couldn't afford to offend her. With no other choice, she quickly dropped to her knees and gave Clara a quick, humiliating bow. I couldn't even be bothered to watch her. "Oh, I suddenly remembered something," I said to Clara. "Hey, can you take me back to the office later? I need to hand in my resignation and pack up my stuff." Isabel's eyes were bloodshot. "Leo, you're quitting your job just to get away from me?" "I was never happy with that job anyway," I said truthfully. "The only reason I stayed in an admin position for so long was because you said you wanted to see me every day. I studied finance. I spent 8 years doing grunt work at that company for you. It's time for me to go home and enjoy life. You know how rich my wife is. I could go home and do nothing for the rest of my life and never run out of money. Right, honey?" Clara wrapped her arms around me and kissed my forehead. "Of course. What's mine is yours. Let's go. We'll head back to the company now." Clara drove me back to the office. I wrote out my resignation in a few minutes, printed it out, and tossed it on Isabel's desk. "I quit. I'm not approving it. I'm resigning whether you approve it or not. I'll just forfeit this month's salary if I have to." Those co-workers who had filmed me were craning their necks to see what was happening. I walked straight over to them. "Can you send me the videos you took at my wedding yesterday? I'd like to see them." They looked at each other nervously. "I just want the videos. I'm not going to cause any trouble for you." They hesitated for a moment before finally sending the videos to me. As I was about to leave, I ran into Isabel's father and Daniel at the company entrance. "Leo, you've made your point. It's time to stop," her father said, his voice weary. "In the 2 days you've been gone, your brother and I haven't been able to eat or sleep properly." "That's because you don't have anyone to cook for you," I said coldly. "But don't worry, Simon can take my place. You can boss him around from now on." "How could we do that? He's just Isabel's assistant. You're the only son-in-law our family recognizes." "The only one you recognize?" I sneered. "You only recognize me because I come from a wealthy family and I could help Isabel's career. You just wanted to bleed me dry since I have no other family, right?" "That's a horrible thing to say, man," Daniel blustered. "We came to find you personally because we consider you family. Don't be ungrateful." "I can't afford family like you. You'd be better off with Simon. He's the one who's really part of your family." I pushed past Daniel, who was blocking my way, and walked out without looking back. That night, a friend forwarded me a video. "Leo, you have to see this. Someone's spreading rumors about you." I clicked on the link. It was posted by an anonymous account. Although the faces were pixelated, you could still tell the groom was me. The video was selectively edited, with a voiceover narrating. Groom fools around with his childhood friend on his wedding day. Bride catches him wearing her friend's brother's clothes. Bride cancels the wedding on the spot and marries her assistant instead. The comments were a torrent of abuse, all directed at me. People called me shameless, a gold digger, and worse. I smiled. I knew Simon would use the fact that I was wearing Clara's brother's clothes to spin some story. Good thing I was prepared. I immediately uploaded the unedited videos my co-workers had recorded and posted a clarification. I explained the entire situation. Isabel refusing to let me in the car, the staged accident, and Simon stepping in to save a ceremony I was deliberately blocked from attending. I also released evidence proving that Isabel had pursued me relentlessly and proposed multiple times, debunking the narrative that I was a gold digger. As soon as I posted my clarification, the online narrative flipped. The people who were attacking me were now attacking Simon, and by extension, Isabel and her family. Online sleuths quickly identified them and their company. Outraged users started calling them out. When many of Isabel's business partners saw the scandal, they immediately terminated their contracts. Stratford Development also terminated its partnership and blacklisted her throughout the industry. Overnight, Isabel's company went bankrupt. At the same time, I filed a lawsuit against Simon for defamation and slander. The next time I saw Isabel, she was a shadow of her former self. Her eyes were sunken, and she was rail-thin. Daniel trailed behind her, no longer sharp and polished, but completely disheveled. "Leo, I'm so sorry," she whispered. "I investigated, and it's true. The person who hit you that day was Simon's friend. I was fooled by that scumbag Simon. I've already fired him. I came today to formally apologize to you. I hope for the sake of our past, you can help me out. Dad's in the hospital. He collapsed when the company went bankrupt. He was always good to you. For his sake, can you please ask Clara to save me?" "Yeah, man," Daniel added. "We were almost family. You can't just stand by and watch us end up like this, can you?" "Why can't I?" I responded. "You brought this on yourselves. If you hadn't started spreading rumors about me online first, I wouldn't have aired all this dirty laundry in public. You started this, but I get to decide when it ends." Isabel's face contorted with rage. "Are you trying to kill my father? He's in the hospital on oxygen right now. He can't take any more stress." "I'm not the one who put him in the hospital. This is the consequence of your own actions. Isabel, if you're going to do something like that, you should be prepared for the consequences. You hurt me so recklessly because you were sure I wouldn't fight back, right? I told you a long time ago I'm not some love-struck idiot, and I don't love you anymore. What you did to me, I will return to you tenfold. You should be grateful that Simon was the one who slandered me online. You just used him as your pawn. Otherwise, you'd be facing not just bankruptcy, but jail time." "Leo, how can you be so cruel?" she sobbed. "I've always been good to you. Just because I didn't let you ride in the limo at the wedding, you're going to destroy me?" My assistant handed me an envelope, and I threw it at her feet. "You have the nerve to say you were good to me? While we were dating, you were sleeping with Simon the whole time. You even agreed to help him raise the child he had with his ex-girlfriend. The biggest mistake of my life was spending 8 years with you, Isabel." Seeing the photographic evidence in the envelope, all the fight went out of her. She fell to her knees in front of me, sobbing uncontrollably. "I'm sorry, Leo. I'm so sorry. I was involved with him, but you're the only one I ever loved." "You make me sick," I said, my voice devoid of all emotion. I signaled for security to escort them out. As they were being led away, Daniel kept screaming for me to save them. I pretended not to hear. Soon after, Isabel's company was completely dissolved, and she was saddled with a mountain of debt. Simon was found guilty of defamation and slander and sentenced to 3 years in prison. And on that same day, I received the best news of my life. My wife, Clara, was pregnant. All those unpleasant people and events were now just a bad memory. All I could think about was the arrival of our new little life.